Of the world, Hollywood. Specialist teams were quickly drafted in and the area sealed off. Tom Gill reports.
Police in riot gear, armed with automatic weapons and backed by armoured vehicles, hunted down the robbers after a botched bank raid in North Hollywood. 2 men were shot dead by officers. 8 policemen and 5 civilians were wounded by gunfire. The whole shootout was shown live on American television, and in one graphic scene, a robber was seen firing an automatic rifle through the windscreen of a car. He surrendered to police but is believed to have died later from his wounds.
He must have fired over 500 rounds. I mean, unbelievable. It was like a war zone, and he just kept doing it, and the cops were all pinned down. One of them was bleeding pretty bad.
According to police officials, the gunmen were armed to the teeth with AK47 automatic weapons with armour-piercing shells.
A firefight occurred that was horrendous, would just frighten the conscience, because these suspects continued to fire and held our officers who were under gun at bay for almost an hour. Very horrendous situation.
Police cordoned off the area and stopped local traffic. They're now believed to be searching for one gunman who's still on the run. Tom Gill, ITN.
It's been reported this morning that 4 people have been killed and another 10 wounded when shooting broke out in the southern Albanian port of Vlora. One witness said the headquarters of the secret police was also set on fire. For the past 2 months, Vlora has been the scene of violent protests after thousands of people learnt they'd lost all their savings in fraudulent pyramid investment schemes. They blame the government for failing to alert them to the dangers of the savings funds. Oklahoma bombing suspect Timothy McVeigh has admitted planting the bomb that killed 168 people, according to an American newspaper. The Dallas Morning News claims McVeigh said he set off the bomb during the day to get a body count. According to the paper, McVeigh has told his defense team he alone drove the bomb to the government building in April 2 years ago. More than 100 anti-nuclear...
We shot this video to highlight what it says is the country's policy of cruelly killing them. The video shows how the dogs are rounded up. Many are strangled at the scene. Those which survive are sent to overcrowded dog pounds and kept in appalling conditions. The weakest are crushed to death. Others are forced to eat the dead out of starvation. Many die of disease and decay in the same cages as those still alive. Those strong enough to survive, it's claimed, are then cruelly put to death.
The cage is then swung across and dumped into this container.
Some are systematically drowned in tanks, others are gassed, electrocuted, or just buried alive. The WSPA has called on the Taiwanese government for the implementation of legislation to protect animals proposed 3 years ago. It also wants government officials trained in humane methods of killing stray animals. But despite promises from the Taiwanese authorities, no humane control techniques have been adopted. And the organisation says for the time being, these dogs are condemned to a violent, painful death. Ian Booth, ITN.
With the end of London fashion